Okay, for dinner I'm having 2 Ezekiel 4-9 breads with 2 tablespoons of PB Fit, some sugar-free jam, an egg white omelet, and an apple and some almond milk unsweetened. Back to Cat on Point. Cat here. Okay, it's time for a health update. Okay, so what am I doing? For those of you who have been with me for a really long time, you may have noticed in what I showed you that I was eating which way I'm heading. And I'll give you a hint. It's actually not carnivore. And I'm not that anything's wrong with people who are doing carnivore. I think that that's great. In fact, I want to tell you, there is a lot of study I've been doing into that lately, and it is really cool. The results that people are getting with that health-wise. It's helping them fight autoimmune diseases and all kinds of things that they've been dealing with. And the raise in cholesterol is baffling some doctors, but as I'm finding out more and more about cholesterol, it's not the marker of metabolic health that they were thinking that it was. So that's a whole different issue. Anyway, I want to say, as far as carnivore goes, I have a sister who utilized carnivore to drop like 150 pounds, and it has served her very well. So I've got nothing bad to say about that whatsoever. But anyway, I don't think that that's really my thing right now. I think that there's a lot of wonderful things about it, but I have to work in some carbs once in a while, right? Some good carbs, and I like to keep things moving, and I just don't like being held up, digestive wise. But anyway, one of the things that has served me very well in the past, probably the only really successful diet or way of eating that I've had in the past, is highly, I want to say it's been Somersizing. And some of you may know that the creator of Somersizing, Suzanne Somers, lovely woman that she was, brilliant woman in very many different ways, she passed away not long ago. And that was really sad to me when I had heard that, because she's been such a trailblazer as far as weight loss and health, and especially bioidentical hormones, which has totally changed my life. And I'm so grateful for her being that pioneer there. It's really, really been amazing, this journey through bioidentical hormones. And I actually saw her in person one day. She came to Vegas to present information about bioidentical hormones and about her company that at the time she was really pushing, the Suzanne Somers company, and different products they were offering and stuff. And I went into the audience and I saw her, and I thought that was really such a neat experience to get to hear her in person talk about her journey through bioidentical hormones and how much that helped her. And at the time when I saw her, I wasn't yet ready for bioidentical hormones, so I went and got tested, and they said, well, you're not, in menopause yet or anything like that. Your hormones look good still, so you're just gonna have to wait. And then when I finally did go through menopause, dummy me, at the time, I had a provider that was not a bioidentical hormone advocate, and she talked me out of starting them for 4 years when I should have started the year after I started menopause. So I suffered needlessly. I finally found a provider who does offer them, and I haven't looked back since. So it's been wonderful. But as far as the weight loss and using Somersize, which is her plan, it's really using food combining. Now, I'm going to attach a video below by Dr. Ekberg, I think, and he really describes how that kind of food combining and taking your fat and high fat proteins away from carbs and separating them to prevent insulin resistance, and how that works. And so I'm not really brilliant at explaining all of that, but he is. So I'm going to attach that below if you want to read that. If you want to watch that, it's a really great short little video, very informative, and it really helps me to understand why Somersize worked so well. Now, when it worked really, really well, our 34-year-old was he was in his teens, and he really had put on so much weight over the years, which is a whole other story in and of itself, because he had some food issues, and he had a lot of weight to lose. And Somersize is the only way that he dropped everything. I mean, he dropped everything. And I did it with him because I needed to drop some too. And it helped me so much. We both dropped together and we did it together. And even now, if he needs to lose, he goes back to Somersizing and the principles that he learned. And so I really love the program. I really do. I don't know why I've kept away from it for so long, but I did try it again after I had started my Weight Watchers journey, and this was about 6 years ago, and I documented it. So if you type in Somersizing recipes online, there are so few videos out there that the brief stint that I did it again for the second time around about 6 years ago, they'll pop up. So you'll see those videos. And we live in another house, it's just a different background and everything, but that was 6 years ago. And I did Somersizing then, the second time I did it with Weight Watchers, in conjunction with Weight Watchers. And it wasn't as successful for me as it was in the beginning when I did it with my son, because I did it alone without Weight Watchers then. Okay, so the second time I did it with Weight Watchers, and I had kept in mind my points and all of the low-fat foods and the diet things, and trying to fit it into the Weight Watchers perimeter actually didn't work. And I've always said that it's really neat to always be tethered to Weight Watchers because it keeps me in a certain realm. And that has been true for other things, but for Somersize, it did, looking back on it, I see why it wasn't as effective as it was the first time at all. I really didn't lose much. Granted, I didn't have that much to lose, and so maybe it was a little stubborn, but I was not doing Somersize the way that I learned how to do it the first time. I was afraid of having all of the high-fat meats. I was afraid of having, the fat and the butter and the cheese and what, even though now I would still probably not have too much cheese, because there's other issues with dairy and stuff, but I still like cheese. I'm still going to use cheese, but I'm not going to be like, hey, cheese me on everything, right? I was afraid of that, so I would use low fat and reduced fat, and as a result, I was still really hungry. Now, if I'm doing Somersize the way I'm supposed to be doing it, and I am doing what you call a pro-fat meal, which is protein and fats and veggies, that's okay together, and I eat enough fat, I'm not going to be hungry. But the second time when I did it with Weight Watchers, I was always hungry because I was trying to stick with low fat as well, and it just was not really the program the way that it was, I think, intended and designed to be followed. And so now what I've been doing is I started off, I want to say this weekend, like Friday or Saturday, this last weekend, and I just went into kind of like the detox phase of it, and I just, I took out all the things I wasn't supposed to have, and it looked very much like a carnivore diet. It really did, but with a little bit of carb. And if you're wondering, yes, the bathroom visits are just fine. I don't have a problem with that. Now, you can also have carbs on her program. They just have to be separate from the fats. You could still have the proteins with the carbs. They just have to be fat-free. So you can't have, the tenet here is that you cannot have fat with carbs. And so you can have protein with carbs, but you can't have fat with it. It has to be fat-free if you can have carbs. And I'll talk about the main, outline in the next video, probably, but not this one, because I just kind of wanted to introduce you to where I was again. And it's basically, you can Google it. Although when I Googled it, some of the outlines that described Somersize didn't seem accurate. And they, they were like, oh, you got to take out dairy. It's like, no, you don't have to take out dairy. So you have to kind of like be careful with that. I would just go to SuzanneSomers.com and look at that, look at that definition. But, or you could wait till the next video. And but anyway, I am getting more than enough food. And, yeah, I'm very satisfied. Now, over the last week, I started to weigh myself every day, and I was kind of fudging around with the same, 0.4, 0.8, 0.2, whatever. And it's just, kind of like staying stagnant. And then when I started over the last 3 days, I lost 0.2, 0.4, and then today I'm down 1.2. So I know my body likes this way of eating. I know it loves Somersizing. One thing about it though is that yes, I've been eating low fat for a while because I thought it would help my cholesterol. I have the familial hypercholesterolemia that's kind of like handed down. So you're high cholesterol no matter what you do. And I know that doing this and having my high fat and my meats and whatnot, it's going to drive it up more. And I'm not a fan of statins for many reasons, but I'm prepared for that. And again, I don't believe that it's the marker it was in the past for metabolic syndrome and all those, those dangerous things. I have had a CT scan and I will have them periodically, and it was at 0. So, I'm still looking good. So in other words, my arteries are not clogged to my knowledge. So I feel like it's safe for me to go ahead and do this. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And am I going to be doing it in conjunction with Weight Watchers this time? No, I'm not, because I think that splits my brain and my thinking into too many places. And I don't want to think about food that much. I just want to get back into the habit of Somersizing and what that means, and relax and enjoy my food and go with it that way. So I am going to describe exactly what that means in the next video, but I wanted to let you know what I was doing, guys. And so far I feel great and it's working. And so, yeah, it's a lifestyle, and I'm just gonna ride this train and see how far it takes me. All right, I hope you're doing great. I will see you later in the next video if you want to see how this trip goes, right? I honestly, for those of you who are interested in Somersizing, you can't find anything out there. I can't even find the tutorials out there anymore that Suzanne Somers did herself, but I will show you some of the books that I have in just a moment here. And you can find those books not only at the library still, but you can pick them up. You can still buy them from bookstores and whatnot and Amazon and stuff, but I can always pick up an extra copy at a thrift store. I find them all the time, and I love them. There's one of them that I don't have yet, and it is The Sexy Years, and it's all these recipes that she compiles again, but she does the same kind of tenets and recipes in all of the books. So I do have a lot, and I'll show those to you. But anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and I hopefully will see you soon. Are some of the wonderful books that I was telling you about. This one is one of the oldest ones. Eat Great, Lose Weight. This is one of my favorite ones here. I love the recipes in here, in all of them really. This was one of the latest ones that I picked up, and so that's kind of like updated. And then this one, I also loved this one. This is the one that she really talks about bioidentical hormones in. That's when this one came out. This one here, this is also a really wonderful book. They all are. And then this one is just desserts here, and I really love her for making this. Some of my favorite have been this one, the New York style cheesecake, and I have a video that I actually made that on about 6 months ago, or about a year ago. And this one here, the chocolate layer cake, this is more like a torte, but it is so amazing and chocolatey, and I always had one of these floating around in the fridge when I really did this and it was so successful. So, all right, here we go, guys. This is going to be my journey for a while.